So, today we're going to dive into the absolutely timeless art of calligraphy. We're talking about how simple, everyday letters get transformed into these breathtaking works of art. We're going to journey across cultures, across centuries, and really uncover the secrets behind this beautiful and, deeply human craft.
So let's start with a big question. When does simple writing actually become art? I mean, what's the real difference between your handwriting and what a calligrapher does? Where is that line? It's really not just about being neat. It's about the deliberate expression, the harmony of the whole piece, and just this incredible mastery of skill.
Okay, so let's get a baseline here, a clear definition. Calligraphy is the art of beautiful writing. But I want you to pay really close attention to those two words, design and execution. Yeah, we're not talking about jotting down a quick grocery list here. This is a mindful, skillful process of creating something with real intent and beauty.
To really get what this art form is all about, we kind of have to get our hands dirty. Metaphorically, of course, we need to understand the tools. Because in calligraphy, the instrument you're using isn't just a tool, it's like a partner in creation. It shapes every single stroke, every curve.
So at its core, it all boils down to these four things. But hey, don't let that simplicity fool you. The type of pen, what the ink is made of, the texture of the paper, every single choice dramatically changes the final piece and really defines the unique character of different calligraphic traditions all over the world. And just listen to these names. They tell a story all by themselves, right? You've got the quill, made from a bird's feather, the qalam, a simple reed pen that's at the very heart of Islamic calligraphy, and then the incredibly versatile ink brush from East Asia. Each one has this rich history and demands a totally unique set of skills. And they often use parchment because artists could carefully scrape off mistakes, which must have been a super handy feature for such a precise art form.
All right, first stop on our journey, East Asia. This is a place where calligraphy becomes more than just art. It's like a form of meditation, a spiritual practice that's woven deep into the culture, connected to philosophy and mindfulness.
So, in East Asia, the whole art form revolves around what they call the four treasures of the study. And these aren't just, tools, they're basically seen as spiritual companions. The slow, meditative act of grinding an ink stick on the inkstone. Choosing between a soft goat hair brush for gentle strokes or a stiff wolf hair brush for sharp, energetic lines, every single detail matters. It shapes the soul of the final piece.
Okay, this slide is just an incredible journey through thousands of years. Look way over on the left. Writing starts as something almost mystical, carved into oracle bones to tell the future. And as you move across the timeline, you can literally see the script evolving, from these rigid carvings on bronze to the more fluid, standardized forms you could write with a brush. This isn't just the evolution of writing. It's a visual record of a civilization's entire journey.
But, it wasn't all just formal, official stuff. Alongside those standard scripts, these wonderfully personal, super expressive styles started to pop up. This was kind of like the calligrapher's version of handwriting. It was fast, fluid, and just full of spirit. The goal here wasn't just about making it readable, it was about capturing a feeling, an emotion, in a single energetic brushstroke.
Okay, so let's hop across the globe now, over to the Islamic world and medieval Europe. Here, calligraphy became this incredibly powerful tool for both faith and for empire. And what we have here is really a tale of two traditions with two very different purposes. On one hand, in the Islamic world, calligraphy just blossomed. It became the highest form of art, a way to give stunning visual form to the sacred words of the Quran. And then on the other hand, in medieval Europe, it was a vital tool for survival, the survival of knowledge, with monks in quiet monasteries painstakingly copying texts to keep learning alive.
I mean, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? In a tradition that often steers clear of depicting figures, the written word itself became the ultimate way to express creativity and spirit. It's this direct, beautiful link between language and faith.
And just looking at this, you can almost smell the old parchment and hear the silence of a medieval monastery, right? These places were sanctuaries of learning. For the monks, the very act of copying these sacred texts was a form of devotion, and it resulted in these absolutely stunning illuminated manuscripts, like the Book of Kells, where crazy intricate designs and vibrant colors just transform letters into something divine.
Okay, get ready for a total mind-blowing moment. I want you to take a close look at the letters you are reading on your screen right now. Their direct ancestor is the script you see right here, the Carolingian minuscule. It was developed more than 1,200 years ago to be clear and uniform, and this elegant script is the very foundation of our lowercase alphabet. So, every single time you type an A or a B, you are using a design that has its roots in a medieval scriptorium.
How cool is that? So, what happens when this incredibly careful, meticulous handmade art form goes head-to-head with the machine age? Well, for a little while, it seemed like calligraphy might just fade away. But instead, something remarkable happened. It had this amazing revival, and it re-emerged as a very conscious and deliberate art form.
Yeah, the printing press was a total game changer. I mean, it democratized knowledge, which was amazing, but it was also a huge threat to the calligrapher. Suddenly, you didn't need someone to spend months painstakingly copying a book by hand. And for centuries, this ancient art form looked like it was headed for extinction.
But just when you think it's over, the story takes this amazing turn. Enter our hero, Edward Johnston. Right in the middle of the Industrial Revolution, he and others felt like something human, something vital, was being lost in this age of mass production. So they looked back to the beauty of those medieval manuscripts, rediscovering the forgotten techniques and breathing new life into calligraphy as a fine art.
Now, Johnston didn't just want to copy the old stuff. He was a real innovator. He created something called the foundational hand, a script that was both beautiful and incredibly easy to read. And this unique mix of elegance and modern clarity caught the eye of a very forward-thinking client, the London Underground, which needed a super clear typeface for its brand new transport system.
And here it is, our second aha moment of the day. If you have ever been on the tube in London, you have been guided by Edward Johnston's work. That iconic, clean, instantly recognizable font, that's his design. It's just a perfect example of how an ancient art can find a powerful new purpose in the most modern setting, connecting a 19th century artist with millions of commuters every single day. Isn't that wild?
So what's the common thread here? From ancient oracle bones in China, to the spiritual brushwork of East Asia, to the signs in the London Underground, calligraphy is really about this, the art of giving our words a beautiful and meaningful form. It's about finding that perfect balance of expression, harmony, and skill. And that really leaves us with one final big question for all of us living in this digital age. In a world full of keyboards and touchscreens, what's the value of writing something out by hand? What is that unique human connection we find in the slow, deliberate, physical act of forming letters? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining me on this journey.